You know, Mario, all you need is some
It's the
horn rimmed
Brushfire Mind. We're about
glasses.
to do this. We're going to talk tonight. We're coming at you with Clown World stuff. We're going to talk about the Clown World panic. We're going to talk about all that madness. It's going to be all the fun in the world, and just to really drive home how much madness we're sucking through. I'm going to combine my deep knowledge of intelligence analytics, complex political theory, and my love of musical theater. Coming at you.
Has gone insane, and parasites are eating at my brain, and nothing is the way it was before. A pack of wolves is howling at my door. I'm living in a non-stop nightmare, dead man's dreams, filled with screaming pain, hurling me to mad extremes in a world that's gone insane. The world has lost its head, and every evil hour is filled with dread. I'm floating on a lake, but upside down, and when I try to breathe, I start to drown. I cannot speak as neighbors, ghosts, and faceless ghouls bid me join the dead. No one tells these gruesome fools that the world has lost its head. Fiendish creatures leave their graves to taunt me. Risen from the dead to haunt me. God-forsaken images that daunt me, drowning in an endless flood of blood. The world has lost its mind, and everywhere I turn, I fear I'll find some nightmare even worse than those I see. Satanic demons closing in on me. How can it be that even though they see my plight, everyone is blind? Night is day and day is night in a world that's lost its mind. The world has gone berserk, and hiding in the murk, new monsters lurk. I see a sea of snakes upon the floor. I see the reaper grinning at my door. I scream in silence, bad is good and good is bad. Sacred is profane, and it's wiser to be mad in a world that's gone insane.
Insane. A world that's gone insane. Insane. A world that's gone insane. A world that's gone insane. 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 A world that's gone insane.
So, did I get it?
Well, I'll tell you what. You
That took me
definitely got us
45
demonetized for life.
Say again, Cam.
You got us demonetized for life.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that took me like 45 minutes.
A bit of a... Personally, I think Herod's song from Jesus Christ Superstar would have been better, but that's okay. I appreciate it.
Oh my God, am I going to agree with Mario? I think I'm going to agree with Mario. Yeah, dude, you should have had Herod's song.
Maybe y'all need to learn how to operate some Adobe. I think I'm going to cut one like that to Operation Mindcrime soon, too. Who gives a shit if we're monetized? Let's just have some fun with it.
Yeah, I really thought about doing big, exaggerated red lips and the vertical clown makeup just to really make the point.
I was definitely I trashed my house looking for a red rubber clown nose. Alas, I'm absent. I did.
I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. We are living in.
But I thought about it.
Why not push it to the edge? I mean, it's not like we're really jeopardizing all 50 cents of Lowry's monthly income here.
Oh, no. Oh, Mario, make no mistake. we have been we were completely demonetized in the apocalypse.
Oh, we were. It was depressing, man. I remember when you sent me the screenshot where like 90% of our videos had just been wiped out. It was like, oh, okay. So that's how they're going to
Now,
play.
to be clear, we weren't actually making any money, but we were all full on eligible for monetization. So all of our videos were technically earning toward a paycheck, and then
Yeah, our 111 views a month were really starting to add up.
we do get a little more than that. We have 2 viewers right now. Hey guys. So
Hi, we appreciate you. We'll
It's Clown
get
World.
started.
it's freaking Clown World out there. Mario, you are
Yes.
the meme lord tonight. Explain
That's-
Clown World.
Well, that's a poor choice. So, Clown World. Clown World is that. Clown World is essentially that breaking point where the person who is basically, modestly red-pilled about what's going on in the world these days is looking at his current media and realizes that he skipped a timeline. A timeline got skipped, and he has no idea what's going on right now. Okay? Everything has become straight up Weimar America. Weimar America gone global. That's what's happening right now. And the average normie cannot understand what is happening. And a lot of basically we call them on 4chan, right? In poll, they're called new fags. Okay? They're the people who are just kind of filtering in, like they should lurk as per the common protocol. They should lurk for 2 years before they start posting. But whatever, it's fast and furious these days. And nobody knows what's happening. Nobody understands. It's literal madness. You look at the actions of your politicians, and they're no longer even assembling themselves in any modicum of what the public desires. You're living in it's like the meme says, like the meme shows, I'm moving this to my nonfiction section, and it's a person like with a hand from 1984, George Orwell, moving it to nonfiction, right? Like, that's what we have. It's not funny. It's really not funny. But the only reaction that the sane mind has, given this situation, is to laugh at it, and that's the awful truth. So, anyone got something to say about that?
Let me just ask, apart from, the lulls and the kecks and all that good stuff, what's the point of Clown World? Like, I think it's funny that this, which for my entire life has just been a universal symbol of, hey, no big deal, A-OK, is now suddenly
That's not what Clown World is. Clown World is not saying that it's A-OK. Clown World is saying that
It's
gone.
wiser to be
It's
mad.
It's over, man. There's no point in being angry anymore. It's beyond the point of parody. It has entered the point where you, like, when you go to watch a movie and you are asked to sustain your disbelief, you know what I mean, to propel the narrative of a plot. That's what's going on right now. Like, you can't do that anymore. It's beyond absurd. It's beyond insane to the point where, like, the sane mind has to laugh to avoid madness. That's what's happening right now. So
that's all it is. It's a big joke. We're gonna take the the alphabet soup flag, and we're gonna secretly turn it into a hate symbol, and it's just so that we can get some kind of enjoyment out of Rome burning.
We're out of legitimate options. So yes, there are no more legitimate options. So what we're going to do is to basically use the meme space to actually attack the psyche of like already established meme networks. Okay, like the rainbow flag, reinterpret the rainbow flag as a white nationalist symbol. That is basically the general phase 2 idea of Clown World, of Honkler, Hail Honkler, HH. Okay, that's what's going on.
I don't know if I'm ashamed or proud of the fact that you just made that joke.
Well,
Like,
see, and here's
No.
the thing. You
We're,
remember the okay?
The point of Clown World is that we're beyond that at this point. We're beyond it.
That's
We're beyond
what's happening. So that's what's happening with Clown World and the flag, like you said. Remember the OK symbol? Apparently, this is a white power symbol. Okay, no reasonable, intelligent person believes that. That is the product of a hoax. A hoax that developed and became like comedically semi-true.
The entire point of mimetic warfare is to take something that is absurd and force meme it into reality. That's what they do. That's what we do. That's why this is a white nationalist symbol. Okay? It actually means A-OK. But because Poll did basically a raid across multiple channels, across Twitter and across Facebook, it is now associated with white nationalism. It's forced memes. Forced memes are the best memes, boys. I'm telling you.
it has been effective.
It's
I don't know if
psychological
For
cultural warfare.
example, did you know? Look at this. Look at this. Did you know that this is a white nationalist meme? The thumb here is 1, and there are 4 fingers here. That's 14. 14 words. We must preserve the existence of our people and a future for white children. Did you know that's a white nationalist meme?
Okay.
Exactly. It's not. It's just but that's the kind of stuff that you can invade the public psyche if you commit yourself to total mimetic warfare. That's what we're doing on the other side of the internet.
So I'm a total Blizzard nerd. I love Blizzard video game products. And during the recent Overwatch tournament, a guy was thrown out of the stands, basically, for doing the OK symbol at one of his favorite Overwatch players because, you know, it's a racist, hateful symbol. So I ask, while that's funny, like in a gallows humor sense, that's hilarious. What does it actually accomplish to where it invades a space that should be apolitical? It's a freaking video game.
Humanists like food.
talked
Not
about it,
everybody
man.
gets it.
We've already talked about this. It's called accelerationism. We can't make it better given the current framework. You cannot fix this problem. You have to push it until it breaks. That's what people are doing. That's
Okay, Thanos.
And I'm
That's just kind of terrifying.
Cam, I'm sorry, man. People gave up. They gave up out here. Out in the frontiers, man, they gave up. Break it. Break the system and rebuild it. You can't fix this crap.
Okay, and a second time I say, okay, Thanos, that's kind of terrifying.
I have things. I have no stones.
No. There you go.
That's the truth. Did you do that on purpose? I feel like you did that on purpose.
I have 2 stones, time and soul, and they're limited. Thank God I got 3 out of it.
Okay, but all jokes aside, it really sounds like you're talking about a modified version of the Cloward Piven strategy. And
Yes, that's actually brilliant. That's exactly what it is. So the point is, it's basically you can't beat them, so you might as well co-opt what they're doing and use it against them. You're exactly right. It's taking basically Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals and reversing it against the system. Basically attacking it from 2 fronts, further weakening it. That's what's going on. Yes, it is the Cloven Piven strategy. Break it. Why do you think there's so many people on 4chan right now who are all about Yang Gang 2020, right? Give me my 1,000 UBI every month, because at this point I just don't care. The system's broken. You might as well give me my $1,000 before we go bankrupt. It's absolutely cloven pivot. It's the hard right, basically the National Socialist kind of hard right, adopting certain principles that have been used to subvert this country up to this point.
Okay.
And basically pushing it into overdrive.
And under no circumstances is socialism hard right.
To be fair, I don't like it, but I understand it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, there's nothing right-wing about socialism.
Now,
The fundamental.
let me say this about UBI. I'm all for UBI. I'd be totally comfortable with an actual UBI, assuming it replaces all other forms of welfare.
Well, you know that's the central plank of Yang's UBI strategy, right? It's that. Yeah, once upon a time, they said Trump would never be elected.
Yang's polling 2% in Iowa. Okay, Yang's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's probably going to be Kamala or Bernie.
Some of his ideas, but he's not a political threat. Trump is absolutely still in line to be being reelected in 2020.
Oh, and yeah. And it will not be Bernie. It will not be Bernie. Bernie is not adequately commie. He's not adequately socialist to win a Democrat ticket right now. He's not commie enough.
Yeah, simply because he's old and
enough.
White and has a penis.
Yeah.
It's the unfortunate thing about politicians when they're at the very top of the game. Like the ones who are members of a certain tribe simply cannot claim minority status like they could on Twitter or Facebook when they're actually talking to the American public, because the American public still won't buy it. I mean, let's be honest, that's what it is.
Look, I'm just going to lay it out, okay? Here's my problem with accelerationism, okay? The thing that makes Western society work is the fact that
it is white people. Yes, you're correct.
No, it's not white people. It's
easy,
just that.
Mario. Drink another beer.
No, look. Seriously, the real thing that makes it work is
everybody getting demonetized today. Okay, we ain't playing.
Look, the real thing that makes it work is that we choose to believe in it, even if it is a grand fiction. We all choose to accept the grand fiction. We choose to accept the peaceful transition of power. We choose to accept that there are universally preferred principles of behavior, that there are certain things that are based in a Judeo-Christian ethic about individuality and freedom and basic human decency that we just all accept as a baseline. And if you break that system, there is absolutely no guarantee that that system ever emerges on top again.
I believe in everything that you're talking about, Cameron. I believe in absolutely everything you're talking about, okay? The problem is that type of society requires a minimum average IQ of 90, okay? And the only group of people that are actually capable of reproducing that society are people from like a white or Asian background, all right? It's the unfortunate truth, but it's race realism. Like, I mean, you guys know about Jared Taylor.
And you guys, Ashkenazi Jews, Mario.
We know the truth. You can't import the third world into the first world and expect you're going to get first world results, Cameron.
That's correct.
I'm sorry, it's simply not even possible.
No, you're right about that. We can't just bring short people into our country and then they magically become tall people. You are exactly correct in that. However, the ancillary effect of our society means millions of people don't starve to death in Africa that will starve to death if we collapse. And we will rightly get the blame for it if that suddenly happens. Because we broke the system on purpose.
If we stopped giving foreign aid to Africa, then the greatest demographic crisis in the history of the world would stop happening. There's 4 billion Africans, and it's going to grow to 7 billion. And it's all because the Western world, it's all because the first world gives them free food. Okay? You are feeding a parasitical life form when you give money to Africa. I'm so I know it sounds horrible, man. I know it sounds awful, but you're doing them a disservice. The greatest thing you could do for Africa would be to give them nothing. Give them absolutely nothing. They stand and live atop unlimited resources.
I believe that about all.
You have to force these people to work and produce the resources that they have for themselves. Giving them money, giving them free medicine and food, all you're doing is artificially subsidizing and expanding their population and creating demographic crises for future generations.
All right, hang on, Mario. Hang on. I'm going to correct you on something here. What needs to happen in Africa to dramatically improve the lives of the people there is not a measure that we take which forces the current inhabitants to correctly exploit the resources available to them. Rather, it is correct to think of the resources, the incredible, rich, abundant resources of Africa. It is correct to think of those resources as resources themselves, or more importantly, a supply. That supply is currently covered by a demand which cannot exploit it. If we stop supplying the demand that does not understand the exploitation of its own available supply, then the demand which currently exists in the space will continue to exist there, whether or not the people who bear that demand continue to survive it. The correct answer is to allow Africa to be a resource, to allow it to be a supply, and to allow the demand, whether that means that the current population dies out and somebody else moves in, or they get their shit together and start properly exploiting the resources thereto available, growing their own wealth and becoming valuable contributing citizens of the world, is anybody's guess. But the correct answer is to allow the supply to command itself.
I'll just say it, Larry. Based and red pill. That's what China's doing.
Yeah.
Why aren't we doing that? That's what has to be done.
Oh,
I tell you why we're not doing it.
Because there's a profit margin. Because there's a profit margin in exploiting the labor of the U.S. markets.
I don't think it's just about the money. I think it's about the fundamental way, let's just call it Western liberalism, views the world. That every human being has a tiny sliver of the divine spark, and to just summarily extinguish it. In fact, let me just really try and challenge both you guys ethically. I mean, Jesus did say, how you treat the least among you is how you treat me.
That's correct. How you treat the least among you.
And I'm not saying...
You know what, Cam? I actually... Of the three of us, I'm probably the one who's actually the most Christian. And I completely understand that.
Well, you're the most Catholic.
And when...
I'm sorry, that was funny.
All right. Personally,
you've got me beat on church attendance.
We're not going to go here. We're not going to go there. Personally, I believe that Pope Francis is probably an anti-pope. Okay, that's an entire different topic for another video, right?
Oh, you must have seen the picture of him kissing some feet today.
It's just.
Oh, dude, you just made me choke.
It's like, God, dude, it's like, dude, what level of cuck are you on? I'm like, supporting interracial relationships and basically, and telling my daughter to, date men of other races. And then there's the Pope, and it's just like, straight up 11 out of 10 fucking cuckoldry. And you're like, whoa, I'm not even on your level, bro. I don't even understand. It's like, it's beyond. It's
Look,
beyond absurdity. Pope Francis is a part of clown world. Like, you understand that, right? Like,
oh,
that's
yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. He sits in his ivory tower and then preaches some kind of moral socialism to the world. Yeah, no, look, I want to go back to the thing about
evil.
Did you hear? He doesn't like AR-15s. Like, oh God, surprise!
yeah, that's okay. He's guarded by guys that wear purple and orange uniforms and carry spears. He might not have the appropriate level of understanding. Okay,
He's guarded by Swiss. He's guarded by Swiss Chads wearing anachronistic society uniforms and packing HKs. He's good. You know what I mean?
look, there is something that there is something that I want to go back to. Okay, I have just on my own studied the IQ statistics, and to a certain extent, they're freaking depressing. To look at
No
the
kidding.
fact that
It sucks, man. It's like you really wanted everyone to get along. You really wanted to believe that there was a future where everyone could basically coexist
Yeah,
in relative peace. But
let me finish.
not going to happen.
let me-
It's not true.
That same study has led me personally to conclude, and I admit that I do not have a DR period in front of my name, but I think it's reasonable to say that it is a combination of genetics and environmental factors. You look at North Koreans and South Koreans that share damn near every single genetic marker that they can possibly share, and South Korean women are slightly taller and have giant titties, and North Korean women are short and have tiny titties, and it's because they don't get enough food.
That's because South Koreans are all about some chicken and waffles.
Incel
But that's-
detected. Incel detected. FBI take notice.
I'm just trying to point out that those same sorts of environmental factors, if they can affect your body, they can also affect your brain. One thing that I would be intensely curious about would be, like, you take a country like Somalia that has got an average IQ of like 85. And what if you could wave a magic wand and suddenly they are the horn of plenty, and people are allowed to practice natural hypergamy and all of these sorts of things? Like, how quickly do they rocket up by entire factors into being a completely different set of people? I mean, does Ilhan Omar not marry her brother if, like, she doesn't have 10 generations of dumbasses behind her? And maybe not.
So you're saying the solution to the Horn of Africa is UBI with Tinder accounts.
No,
What
what I'm
man?
what I'm saying is, honestly, what I'm saying is actually a sensible immigration policy, and as much minarchism and actual capitalism and so forth. The ancillary effect that we have on the world, the fact that you can start at about the year 1800 and chart out all human progress to have an incredible explosive growth, our life expectancy, our technological advances, all of that. And that has all been a byproduct of the fact that we created an environment where the individuals could compete with one another and could produce the most wealth that the only limitation they had was themselves. And just like Reagan correctly understood a facet of trickle down economics, that doesn't just happen inside this country. America trickles down the entire world over. Like, you want to see the European Union collapse? Fine, let's pull out of NATO. And then I guarantee you there is no more EU, because now they got to fund their own militaries and they can't afford their socialism anymore.
And they got to fund their own EU.
I'm, I'm just saying that if you look at things purely on genetic terms, I think you're missing part of the picture. And I'm not interested in. I'm going to get really personal for just a second. I used to work with this guy named.
And I'm going to get really personal right after you're done. Yeah,
That's fine.
okay.
I used to work with this guy named Clay, and Clay was a black man, and Clay was a very, very bitter, angry black man. And Clay and I actually had some confrontations at our job. And Clay's wife was a true blue NASA scientist. And one day, Clay snapped, hit his wife in the face so hard with a hammer, he killed her on accident. And then decided the way to solve the problem was to finish beating her to death and then murder his two sons, one of which, ironically enough, was named Cameron. And I could not help but think to myself, as somebody that knew since he was in high school I wanted kids, I wish Clay had just given his babies to me. I would have loved them and tried to take care of them. And I'm just not interested in doing things like that on a genocidal scale. I think if we look at insulating ourselves correctly, the wall on the border, actually having a sensible immigration policy, which would include caps on immigration, because when you bring people in, they have to assimilate. And if they don't assimilate, you don't bring more people in on top of them that are not going to assimilate. I think if we actually got back to that, the net effect the entire world over.
Pre-1965 levels.
I do mean pre-1965 levels. We had a virtual freeze on immigration from about 1930 to 1960. It was very difficult to get into this country and become a citizen. So the people that did come to this country, the people that did become citizens, wanted to do it bad enough to jump through every hoop we put in front of them. And if we went back to that, a lot of our internal problems would dissolve. Now, it would take a couple of generations, no doubt about it. But once we got through that period,
we're gonna deport the failed asylum seekers, right?
oh no, I'm okay with mass deportations. When Jeb Bush made his comment about what are you going to do, get 1,000 buses and start taking people to the border, I was like, yeah, actually, that sounds like a really good plan. Like, I'm just saying, when you just all the way down at the bottom of it, if you look at people as everybody has a tiny slice of that divine spark, I don't want anything to do with the fact that's going to make 1 million of them go through a holodomor, and then 1 million more, and then 1 million more, and then 1 million more. Just please, no, thank you.
To be fair, Cameron, I honestly, as a Christian man, I do believe that everybody has that divine spark within them. Okay, I really do believe that. But I think that spark needs to be cultivated at its primary level, at its basic level, like within their own societies. And we should do everything and we should do whatever's in our power to actually cultivate that type of mindset. But importing the third world to the first world only creates the third world here.
And I agree with you on that.
Right? Like there is no assimilation at this point. There's no possibility for assimilation when you have immigration levels that we've seen since 1965. When we suddenly went from importing people from Eastern Europe to importing people by the millions from literally anywhere else on the planet to this country, there is no possibility of assimilation. You know it. You see it in public schools, right there in your own counties in Georgia. You're in line. You are in line to become the next Virginia. Like, you understand that, right? Georgia is going to become Virginia in 8 years, tops. That's their plan.
Okay. Look. First rule of triage is you stop the bleeding. You don't increase the bleeding and hope it all just magically works out.
No, first you put out the fire.
That's the point of Clown World, Cameron. We're beyond triage. Actually accelerate the bleeding. Accelerate it. The greatest day of your life is going to be the day you wake up and you see the first thing on Drudge Report is literally everything in all caps and in all reds. Dow drops 10,000. That's the beginning of our freedom. You understand? That's the beginning.
Okay.
You can't fix it. You can't fix it, Cameron. We tried. We tried to vote. We tried to vote it away. We tried to vote away the pestilence in 2016. It didn't work. And you know what? I'm not even going to talk about, I don't even care about, I'm not going to talk about Trump at this point. I'm voting for Trump in 2020 because it's literally the only option I have. All right?
Then I'm going to call you a hypocrite. Vote for Bernie. You really want to bleed it dry as fast as possible. Vote for the guy that has been a socialist since he got elected mayor of some little town in Vermont by a scant 10 votes, and I literally mean 10 votes. Vote for him. Let him give Medicare for all for everybody, which I think we all know enough about math to understand that will bankrupt not just us, but the world virtually overnight. And then just let the chips fall where they may. You know, and if I didn't have my own children, I might even be on board with that. But
I can't do it. I can't do that, Cam. Like, I mean,
then you don't really believe in accelerationism. Because you could put your foot on the gas right now.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Look at the three of us. We all have children. We're all invested totally into the next generation.
In fact, most of us have 4 children. Catholic.
Catch up, Mario.
Supposed to endorse something truly radical. That's the problem.
I think at this point, what's radical is just going back.
Stuck. And that, I think, is part of the point of Clown World. We're stuck. We're screwed, man. What are we supposed to do? You laugh at it and you hope that it breaks and that we can naturally resolve it as quickly as possible.
Hope without actual substance behind it is worthless.
I have 3 daughters. Complete societal breakdown is my nightmare.
Agreed.
Yeah, because they're going to be the victims of the worst parts of it.
And so am I.
No, the 3 of us won't be the victims of the worst parts of it because they'll shoot us in the head in the beginning.
Well.
Yeah, it's our kids.
I love you, Chris, but as much as a badass as you legitimately are,
I ain't saying I don't.
Bullets.
I ain't saying I don't go down, but I don't go down with bullets left in my rifle.
Look. Unlike Chris, I don't pretend to be a badass. I actually accept the fact that I'm an MI weenie. It's okay.
Look, but I don't doubt that you'd take a few of them with you. Honestly, I don't even doubt that I'd take a few of them with me. But I'd go down. It would happen. And then my children are exposed. And they will not get the mercy of a quick death. It just won't happen.
I fought Mario, and I can tell you this about Mario. Mario will go down. But he has to be put there.
That is a fair point. Look, we've only got a few minutes left. This is super depressing. Can we talk about the other incredibly depressing thing with Assange?
In response to Lowry, I will say thank you. To beat me, to actually ultimately defeat me, you have to kill me. And
you gotta earn it, motherfucker. And I dropped the F-bomb. That's my fault.
We were demonetized half an hour ago.
I give a shit about democracy. I don't. You want to beat me? Kill me. Zuckerberg, come kill me right now. Bezos, come kill me.
Gents, let me ask you a question.
I welcome the challenge.
Are y'all willing to do another? Are y'all willing to do this again tomorrow night? Because I don't want to crack into Assange with 5 minutes left on the clock.
I think tonight was kind of a. I like you guys, man, and I've missed Cameron, not being on the show recently.
Oh, you're gonna make me blush.
I'm gonna make Cameron feel bad about himself. Oh my god! But seriously, I think this was a really good get together. And if you want to talk about some serious stuff, yeah, why don't we go on tomorrow night? I agree.
Cam, you down?
Yeah, I'm down.
Damn, I'm down, but it was actually really important to me to say this one thing about Assange. So
let's go. What do we got? We got 10 minutes. Let's do this shit.
Yeah, Game of Thrones doesn't start till 9:00, and I'm sorry, I love you guys, but my wife and I are popping popcorn and watching Game of Thrones.
I need to pee.
Watching network television, that's pretty blue pill, bro. I don't know, man.
Yeah. But Game of Thrones has dragons and titties, so
and beer.
Yeah. Oh, and lots of blood. Lots of blood.
Yeah.
I like dragons. I like titties. I like blood as well. But
and beer.
And beer.
What do you do? How do you watch these? How do you watch the cool shows and your kids aren't involved? You know what I mean? Because literally until I go to bed, or maybe I'm just a bad father. I don't know. My children are hovering over me until I actually go to bed, and then they decide to go to bed. I can send my 3 kids upstairs and be like, go to sleep. They're not going to do that shit. They're going to constantly come down. They come down on raids. They come
you need an old-fashioned shoe spoon.
I need a Mary Poppins in my household. You know what I mean? Or something to basically just manage these children.
Mario, I'm just telling you, man. When I tell my kids to go away, they go away.
Have you met my daughters?
I have.
Only once, and they are adorable. I'd credit where it's due. If I was overrun with cute little girls, I might be an entirely different father. Okay?
They're adorable little monsters, Cameron. Okay? They don't listen to you.
All right.
No, they don't listen to you because they know they wear you right here.
Okay, Jess.
Oh shit.
We're cutting the show off early tonight so that Cameron can go watch his HBOs. I'm not watching it until a little bit later. I am excited about watching the next episode of Game of Thrones. I do love the show. I think it's one of the best written shows on television. I also have to pee, and for our several viewers.
Let me just real quick. I know you got to pee. All right, I know you got to pee. But I did something that I've only ever done once ever my entire voting life. I actually called my congressman, and I left a message at my congressman's office that says, I understand on a personal level, Julian Assange is really kind of a piece of shit, but I don't want to see him do prison time because, for better or worse, he gets it right and CNN gets it wrong all the damn time, and it bothers me, even if he is an anti-American twat. Sorry. What, we're going to take the word of Bradley Chelsea Manning as gospel here? No, never.
WikiLeaks received 13 international awards for journalism. Okay. In 2018.
We're going to do this tomorrow night, and we're going to get into this.
Now that he's arrested, all of basically your mainstream media are saying that Julian Assange is not a journalist and that basically he should not be viewed as such.
Yeah, we're gonna dig into this tomorrow night. Okay. I do want to give a shout out to St. Michael for watching the stream tonight. Good to see you in there, brother. And Rod, as always, thanks for being with us. And since I think y'all tuned in a little after we started, I'm going to hit you with our little musical theater piece real quick, and that'll be the end of the show. Gentlemen, I will talk to you tomorrow, and we'll set up a time for tomorrow evening. And until then, light 'em up, baby.
Has gone insane, and parasites are eating at my brain, and nothing is the way it was before. A pack of wolves is howling at my door. I'm living in a non-stop nightmare, dead man's dreams filled with screaming pain, hurling me to mad extremes in a world that's gone insane. The world has lost its head, and every evil hour is filled with dread. I'm floating on a lake, but upside down, and when I try to breathe, I start to drown. I cannot speak as nameless ghosts and faceless ghouls bid me join the dead. No one tells these gruesome fools that the world has lost its head. Fiendish creatures leave their graves to taunt me, old friends risen from the dead to haunt me, God-forsaken images that daunt me, drowning in an endless flood of blood. The world has lost its mind, and everywhere I turn, I fear I'll find some nightmare even worse than those I see, satanic demons closing in on me. How can it be that even though they see my plight, everyone is blind? Night is day and day is night in a world that's lost its mind. The world has gone berserk, and hiding in the murk, new monsters lurk. I see a sea of snakes upon the floor. I see the reaper grinning at my door. I scream in silence, bad is good and good is bad, sacred is profane, and it's wiser to be mad in a world that's gone insane.
Insane. A world that's gone insane. Insane.